Good afternoon, morning. This is video journal number 3. I don't believe student speech is 100% protected under the First Amendment. And I agree it should not be completely protected under the First Amendment. Students entering a university, to me, are no different than an employee who is working for a company or an employer that has certain policies and procedures that you must follow in order to be affiliated with that institution. Students are representing the institution of higher learning that has allowed that student to be a member of that institution's community. You know, colleges do not want anyone representing it that will cause a negative light or negative impact on that particular university that the student is representing. When students use speech that may be questionable, there can be witnesses out there who say, does that university really produce that type of student? For example, does Forsyth Tech really produce that type of student? Or is that what they teach over at Forsyth Tech? Well, I won't be going there. Or a parent might say, I don't want my son or my daughter going to that particular institution if that's the kind of students and product that they are producing. You know, comments like these lead to less students attending a particular university, which causes enrollment to be down, and it also causes less revenue flowing into that particular institution, which is no different than employers not allowing their employees to speak any way they desire because it can be a detriment to the employer's bottom line, which is unwanted. So I must agree that not all student speech should be protected. Also, at an institution of higher learning, students should look forward to being more open-minded, especially when it comes to other cultures and other individuals' ideas. You know, however, certain hate speeches never allow an individual to become open-minded, which is what an institution of higher learning should be about. As it relates to the students who use the racial slur over at Wake Forest, it seems the university had a right to expel her based upon the cited policies and procedures that they used inside of the article, which they stated that racism has no place on the Wake Forest campus and treated with a zero tolerance policy. So if they're saying that racism or is treated with the zero tolerance policy, that means anything that can be conceived as racism, whether it be slurs or whatever it is, they're just not going to put up with it. So if that is truly their policy, which they quoted, then, you know, you can argue that, yes, they had a right to dismiss this student, which resulted in her expulsion. Now, Forsyth Tech has policies and procedures for student speech as well as student behavior. It isn't directly spelled out, but like most policies and procedures, you know, they have to be interpreted, and it all depends on who is the person interpreting these policies and procedures. In the Student Code of Conduct under student rights, it says all rights and privileges guaranteed to every citizen by the Constitution of the United States and by the state of North Carolina shall not be denied to any student. Which is a good thing. So they're saying that you have a right to speak and do what you need to do. However, also under the general campus rules, rule number 5, it says assault or verbal abuse of persons other than employees. It reads, a student shall not cause or attempt to cause or threaten to cause physical injury, verbal abuse or harassment, or communicate a threat or direct any profane language toward any other student or Forsyth Tech agent, guest, or visitor at any time. Such student is enrolled at Forsyth Tech or while such student is at an off-campus event for Forsyth Tech. So it says there that, you know, you cannot direct any profane language toward another student, regardless of where you are, especially if it is a Forsyth Tech event. And then, of course, the definition of what is profane language would come into play with that. So as I was saying, you know, it's no different than the employers has saying that their employees can't just go out and say whatever it is that they want to say. There are some policies and procedures that as students, we should and must follow because we are representing that university. And that is my opinion. And thank you for listening, Dr. Amy Davis Moore.